Are you feeling frustrated, tired, overwhelmed? If so, we've got some tips and tools to get that all settled right after this. Hi, I'm Mary Jo Cranmore from Client Cycle Marketing, and my co-host.
I'm Freda Brown from Divorce Financial Services, and we're here today with Women Business Owners Alliance, and we are a nonprofit organization that helps women businesses to grow. And our guest speaker today is Shelly Hines from Wellness Shines.
Hi. I love that. And you shine too when you talk about it. Tell us a little bit about your history and how long you've been doing this.
Well, Mary Jo, I have been a holistic practitioner for 17 years, and I came into the field through my own health challenges. And a gift was that Western medicine was unable to support me in the needs that I had at that time. And so I amassed myself with a whole group of people that could in a different way and using techniques and tools that were thousands of years old. And it changed my life. I was so ill, and I became well and vibrant. And in the middle of my own healing, I thought, people need to know this. Somebody needs to tell them. Why didn't anybody tell me? If I'd been told, it'd have been a different story. So I was very honored, bowed down, got on my knees, got real humble, and started to study and then teach and help people.
So I just said about being frustrated and tired and overwhelmed. So give us a little tip or a tool that will help me get over being frustrated. I've had some frustrating days lately. What would you, how might you help me?
Sure. Well, what I do, the field of study that I went under is Chinese medicine. So we're looking at the meridian systems, the energy systems in our body that are very similar to our blood system, our lymphatic system, but we just can't see them. We can actually touch them, palpate them, and understand them. So these are the points on the body that we work with. And we're now seeing this in Dana-Farber, acupuncture, we're looking at acupressure, all of these different ways. We're actually seeing them turn a breech baby with a point on the baby toe. I mean, there's crazy stuff going on in science and medicine, and this culmination of the ancient and the new, which is really gorgeous. So one of the things I work with are those points along those tributaries, those meridian systems. And one point, which I find sometimes in the middle of the night, I wake up and I've got my finger in it, which is great.
I can't wait.
Is the middle of our hand. And the middle of our hand is actually a point that's connected to our heart meridian. And it runs right down the outside of that baby finger, comes right through the heart. And people actually and then there's a second one that protects the heart through the middle. So this point actually calms the spirit and clears the mind. So if you just take your thumb and put it in the center of your hand right now, and just you can relax your hand and just take a breath.
Are we going to fall asleep?
If you hold it long enough, you can fall asleep and you'll wake up in the middle of the night with your hand there like I do.
And you just hold it? Is that it?
You just hold it for a few breaths, actually a few just subtle breaths, because breath is the first thing, isn't it, that changes when we're under duress. I mean, we shorten our breath, we hold our breath, we pant, we get, and so of course we're losing oxygen to our brain and our muscle groups, so our bodies feel tight, our brains get haywire, and we actually get very confused. Which is why when we're angry, we can't talk, because we disconnect. We disconnect. So using this point is a really, really nice point just to relax ourselves, and we can do it anywhere. So if we're in the middle of something, we can just, oh yes, I hear what you're saying, but we're holding a point, and they don't know we're holding a point. So that's a good one.
I love that. I love that. What about overwhelm? Because that's a different feeling for me altogether. Frustration and anger and that, but overwhelm is like,
what do I do next?
What do I do next? I can't even think.
Great question. Yeah, see, the thing about overwhelm is just the pot's overfull, right? The pot's full. We fill ourselves up every day. We've got so much going on. We're doing so much all the time. We're just running. We wake up in the morning and we're running. So the first thing I would say is take some time to sit, to be still when you wake up and find some space and time for yourself. It's so important, whether that means sitting in a bath or sitting humming or listening to some music or reading 10 minutes of inspirational work. I mean, these are great things to do. The other thing is a simple breath. And here's a breath, and this might sound really funny. In my band, I sing also, so my band jokingly says to me, did you spring a leak when I do this? Because it's actually the sound. Everything, all these meridian systems have sound. they have a taste, they have a season, they have a time of day. I mean, that sounds really crazy and out there, but all of these things are connected because everything's affecting us, right? The weather's affecting you, the environment, the energy of people, what's happening in the stars, what's happening on the planet, all this stuff.
Absolutely.
So with overwhelm, again, the breath tightens, we constrict, and when we have more oxygen, we just feel better. So I'm going to give a little game. We don't have to do 10 of them or anything, but I usually do 3 of these. I have somebody take a breath in there. There's nice acupoints. Oops, sorry about that. Nice acupoints at the end of your collarbone down about an inch right here.
Okay.
And usually if you go to the end of your collarbone and you go down, there's like a little soft spot.
Right.
And you can feel it. Sometimes they're tender.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
and those are good. You can always tell an acupoint because they're usually tender.
Right.
So those points are good to hold. So I would have someone like maybe hold both points, or if it was
Okay.
inappropriate because you're driving a car,
I could still do it.
you could still do it with your knee.
Yeah, trust me, I could still do it.
Is actually to hold those points, and if you can't hold the points, that's fine.
Yep.
But what we're going to do is we're going to breathe in a full, nice, deep breath, like you're filling a balloon. The bottom is getting nice and full, and then on the exhale, we're going to make the sound of a snake hiss. The words until it's gone, and we're going to do it a couple of times. So why don't you gals hold those points, because my
Okay.
thing's there. I'm going to take a nice deep breath. You can try this at home too. Take a nice deep breath in and hiss. And again. And hiss.
I feel like I'm getting smaller as I'm doing it.
So just for fun, let's do one
Oh
more.
my God.
Let's do one more. And hiss.
Are you guys doing this? Because this is awesome.
Nice, isn't it?
It is. It's lovely.
So
That's
not only.
fantastic.
So here's what happens. The lower bronchioles, the part of the lungs, they actually relax and open with this sound. And so if you have bronchitis or you have asthma or you're uptight, you can be driving in your car and you can hiss. And 3 times is good. And you fill up and you hiss till there's nothing left. And when you're on that exhale, you're squeezing that belly, letting that air, like pulling up the
Right.
diaphragm so the breath can really flow.
Right, right.
And in that, you're just going to come into your body. Because we're in here. When we're frustrated, when we're stressed, we're up in here. We're not in our hearts. So if we can get into our body, you just said, I feel like I'm getting, I'm dropping.
I was actually
Dropping
feeling
down.
like I was getting smaller
dropping
or
down.
something.
Yeah, nice. I know. It's crazy.
Which would be awesome.
It's crazy. Well, you know, when we look at the science of what we are, we're a bunch of subatomic particles
Right,
moving. That's
exactly.
what Einstein told us. That's
Exactly.
not woo-woo, kids.
No,
that's factual.
that is science.
And so when we look at that science and we think about it and we know that we're in this swimming sea of energy, everything is energy, we need to ground ourselves because we can get caught up into everybody's stuff.
Right.
And so how do we separate?
Right.
You know, how
Exactly.
do we, yeah. So that's a great technique. I call that the hiss.
Okay.
Pretty easy to remember.
Exactly.
And then this is a heart point, so a heart constrictor, but you can just hold that heart point is a great one. Yeah.
Very
so those are a couple
interesting.
things just to balance the emotional piece. Because sometimes we're trying to figure it out, right? We're trying to figure out why do people do that? Why did they do that? Why do they say that? Why is the government doing that? Why are these children getting hurt? What about the animals? And then all of a sudden we're like, bah! How can I
Exactly.
live? How can I do
Exactly.
my work? How can I have relationships when I'm out of my
Out of
mind?
my mind. You know, it's very interesting. I have a friend, and this has also happened to me, feeling unsupported. My back would go out.
Totally.
And she had a similar kind of thing. And I said to her,
yes.
are you feeling supported by the people around you? And she was like, no, I feel like I have to hold up the whole world
That's
myself.
right. That's
right.
That's
So
why she should join WBOA.
well, there you go.
That it
There
is
you
an
go.
amazing organization, I have to say.
Right, exactly. So how would someone, when they have some kind of symptoms, how do they help themselves? I mean, regular medicine, go to the doctor, do what you need to do.
Yes,
But
absolutely. And I say
And,
because
exactly.
it's integrative.
Right.
I want to just say alternative, bad. It's
a bad
it is
word in terms-
integrative.
it's
not
integrative, yeah.
against something or something other than. It's the same. It's
the
just
same.
a different viewpoint from it, but it's all coming to
Absolutely.
the same point.
that's for sure.
You posted something on Facebook, and it said the 6 best doctors.
Oh
remember
yeah,
what
yeah,
that
yeah.
says? I thought that was great. Can you share
Oh
those?
wait, tell me. I don't.
Well, we're talking about sleep.
right.
Sleep is one, right? Having a good, healthy intake of food, nutrients, right? Then you're going to look at your relationships and what the healthy relationships are. We're looking at water. How important is water? We don't even think about that.
Incredible.
So I want to kind of stop in that and kind of get back into your question, because again, we look at the hierarchy of needs, right? We look at, first thing we need is air. If we don't have air, we die, right? Then if we don't have water, then if we don't have food.
Correct.
For me, the last one's fun. You don't got fun, you got nothing. Because
Right.
the whole point of life is to be in the bliss of this amazing experience.
Exactly.
So finding our way to those things is hugely important. And with, like, for example, water, taking in a certain amount of water, half our body weight in water. Not 8 glasses a day. There's no pat answer. There's no specific. It's half your body weight in water
Right.
is what you need to really hydrate and to keep things moving. So how many did I
Exactly.
reach there? I don't know how many are mapped.
That was 4.
okay.
Sun was one of them.
Sun,
Right?
absolutely sun.
Sun.
Yep, yep.
When it came out today, I was just so excited.
It changes
after
us.
It
Yeah.
completely did.
Vitamin D. We didn't even know in the Northeast we were missing it. We're all walking around miserable, wondering why. It's like, oh hell, there's no sun.
That's why.
So just in terms of what the body needs, okay? 16 vitamins a day. So people go, did you get your vitamins? Did you get your, that's important. But guess what? 6D minerals. We are not getting those in our foods anymore. Our foods are depleted. Our soils, even, we
Absolutely.
really have to look at supplementing. The American Medical Association now says you have to supplement in terms to get everything the body
Interesting.
needs.
That's very
So we got
interesting.
16 vitamins, 6D minerals,
Right.
22 amino acids. Then you have essential fatty acids. We didn't even know about those omega-3s, did we, till maybe 10
No,
years
till-
ago?
yeah, just a
And
little
how
ago.
important oils are for our brain. And everyone's saying, don't eat any fat. It's the worst thing on the planet to do. Your brain
won't
functions.
Yeah. See, it
You
doesn't
need,
work.
you need to have
You
fat.
need to have
Butter,
the fat.
butter is good.
Oh,
Yeah.
organic butter is the best.
Can I have that tattooed on a pillow? That is good.
Organic butter is the best. So now I'm getting lost again. So 16 vitamins, 60 minerals, 22 amino acids, essential fatty acids, phytonutrients, which are plant nutrients.
Okay.
And then you're also getting your essential glyconutrients, which are particular sugars that our cells need to talk, water, air, and sun.
Right.
Those are the things we need every single day, and we're just not getting them. And then we throw stress on top of that, and then we throw running on top of that, and so we're not getting this deep sleep. People are, what happens as we get older too is we basically don't make the hormones and the things our body needs to make our brain go into that deep rejuvenative sleep.
For sure.
So that's a big
Absolutely.
issue for people, and if people are not getting into that, not even deep REM, but into what's called theta.
Yeah.
It's like a really, an amazing healing deeply, deeply into the systems.
So how many hours of sleep is a good number of sleep?
or is it the type of sleep?
Or is it, right, is it?
It's absolute quality is true, but quantity is important also. I mean, for me, I know my body 7 hours, I'm golden.
Right.
You know, I can get up and do it at 6, but I feel a little logy in the middle of the day.
Okay.
That's me. My husband can get up, and again, it depends on our constitution. My husband,
Yeah.
if he gets up before 5, he rocks the day. If he gets up at 6:30,
It's not too much.
no, sorry, baby.
It's too much. It's just too. He's like into another cycle, then, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's about cycles. Everything having cycle because we're part of nature. Right?
Sure.
We're not. It's not nature and then us. We are nature.
We are nature.
Yeah.
I wake up when the sun comes through my window.
There you go, and that's perfect
And that's just
for you.
And if
what it
it's a rainy
is.
day, I don't want to get up.
Yeah, because it affects us, right?
Right, for
Because
sure.
that dampness affects us. Because we have dampness in us. We have water, which is the fluids in our body. We have fire, which is the heat in our body. We have gas. You know what that is. That's space. And we have earth element, all these elements. Those are our bones, our structures, that heaviness. So when we have an
Exactly.
imbalance of anything like that, anything in nature that's the same as that has us resonate with it. So if I have a lot of dampness, let's say I'm in college, I live in a basement, I always get sinus infections.
Yeah.
That's dampness.
That's
And you're
dampness.
living in a damp environment. You're going to take antibiotics the rest of your life and have a really bad digestion after that.
right.
You're never going to get the cause
Right.
of the problem solved.
No.
Get out of the basement.
That's right.
You're damp. And you need to dry yourself. So, okay, you can't get out of the basement. What can you do? You could put a dehumidifier in there. You could be eating warming foods to dry you, because
Right.
foods do different
Fire.
things. In the middle of the winter, we don't want to be eating raw, cold vegetables. We don't crave them,
want
do we?
soup.
No,
Want
we
soup.
don't at all.
Soup.
right.
Cooked foods,
Cooked
stews,
foods.
heavy, nourishing. We want to have those root vegetables, all the things that
Exactly.
are actually coming to us. We're so used to buying bananas and,
Any time of year.
Any time of year, a pineapple.
And I always read someplace that you should eat things when they're in season. That's when they're
That
the
is
best
the
for
best
you.
way.
And that's the
Not
truth.
strawberries in January.
Right.
No, it's the truth. But
Right.
we are spoiled because we have this, huge international,
Yeah.
And they're in season
chain.
someplace.
Yeah,
Right?
somebody's growing them.
Somebody's growing. God knows how they're growing them. But you got to be careful with that, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
not.
Because that's not our season for them to be. in.
That's
So-
right. Our bodies are a certain way. I mean, where we are in our environment is very specific to who we are. I mean, if we grew up down in Jamaica, we'd be
You would
wanting to
feel
eat a lot
differently.
of hot chilies and a lot of spicy foods, and the reason they do that, it's natural for them. They have more of an affinity for the hotter foods, and because when our body sweats, the air cools us.
air
It's
cools us.
It's nature showing her best. It's like, go ahead, sweat it up
Absolutely.
and we'll cool you down. We did some traveling when I was coming out of college. I went to Africa overland for 4 months.
Wow, that's fantastic.
It was amazing. And we'd stop in the middle of the desert, I'm not kidding you, and make a fire
No kidding.
and have a pot of tea.
wow.
Like we weren't sweating enough, but
How
that
cool.
was the hydration and that was the cooling, and that's what we did.
Exactly.
And I was
Very
23
interesting.
going, huh? What is that's crazy? They're all going, look at the natives are doing it. Pull over and start a fire,
Exactly.
That's what
Well,
we
you
did.
talked a lot. I mean, the whole thing about the vitamins and minerals, that's a lot of information. How can I, as just a regular person walking through life in a normal environment, how can I be sure I'm doing what's right for me? Do I have to sit down, create a whole plan every single day, calendarize myself, or do I?
God, no, I would never do
Right?
that.
Exactly. But that's a lot of information.
It is
so
a
how
lot
do
of
you
information.
work with that?
I mean, well, the first thing I would say is don't be too myopic. Don't get all
Yeah.
caught up in I have to have this. I mean, the fact is we're going to live, right?
Sure.
I mean, we drank out of hoses with lead when we were kids, and
And here we are.
How did our group do that? We did a whole
Right.
bunch of stuff, and our bodies are amazing at healing and detoxifying ourselves. But
Yeah.
supplementation is hugely important, and I think sometimes too, if we're coming new to something, getting a coach. What would we do if we wanted to be a basketball star? We wouldn't just
Right.
go out and shoot hoops. We'd say, okay, hang on a second. You need to watch what I'm doing and
So you
coach
can
me.
correct what I need.
So having a little support at the get-go and then being free. And that's what happened for me. I worked with a nutritionist, a naturopath, a colon
Right.
hydrotherapist. I had a shiatsu practitioner, which is what I do.
So cool.
And it was body, mind, and spirit.
Gotcha.
And so it's really, more than anything, I think it's being aware. How do I feel when I do this? How do I feel when I eat that? How do I feel when I drink this much or don't drink that much? Do I have muscle cramps? Am I getting headaches? My husband has back issues, and I'm saying, how's your hydration? How's your hydration?
Right.
Or
Exactly.
not enough. Well, don't tell me your back hurts.
That's right.
Then when it comes after the hydration, then I can say, I'll help you and I'll do some body work with you because you do just a little bit more and you'll be there.
It's very
So part of it is about knowing, listening to your body.
Perfect.
And then, and if you want to categorize something,
Exactly.
find out, I have a headache today. What happened today that made me have that headache?
Exactly.
Or my boyfriend
Oh.
gets stopped by a police officer on the highway, and all of a sudden he had heartburn. I'm
Yeah.
like, 'cause that's
Right.
burning you up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. That's burning you up. And he was like,
Sure
yes, it
The
is.
Body, our body is a messenger. It's
Uh-huh.
always sending messages. And instead of like when we're in pain, we shoot ourselves full of cortisol, which can be useful in some instances. The body is saying, please don't walk on me.
Yeah, but then you don't
Could
feel
you
the
just
symptoms,
sit
so you don't know
down?
what's going on, right?
Exactly. Please be still. Please appreciate, respect me, and care for me, because guess what? This is carrying your spirit.
Exactly.
This is our temple. The best thing we can do for ourselves is love ourselves by taking care of ourselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And if you can't and you don't know how to do it, get in touch with one of us. We can
Thank you,
help
Shelley.
Thank
Yeah.
you,
Thank you very
Shelley.
much.
This has been wonderful, absolutely wonderful. And if you want to hear more about Shelley and what she does, you can go on the WBOA website, find her smiling picture. We have a directory of everybody, and click on her website and see what's happening.
It's a great group of women.
And WBOA.org is the website to go to.
Excellent. And I'm just going
Thank
to
you,
leave you
Shelley.
with 3 thumbs. here, here, and here. You want a little extra energy. So we can just go out doing this, tapping at the base of the collarbone. Oh, this is great if you're tired, into the thymus. And then these points here, underneath our arms.
Yay.
You'll find them, they hurt.
Thank you, Shelley.
Enjoy,
Thank you.
everybody. Peace.
That was fun. I love that.
Excellent.